Hi everyone, I know this is an election year and we are about to start our re-election campaign, and we thought it might be fun to look back at the last 3 years and try this challenge where progressive leaders share everything they have gotten done in under 2 minutes. But we are going to mix it up a little bit and share what we have accomplished together in our first 3 years in Congress in under 3 minutes. Okay? Ready? 3 years in 3 minutes. Let's start the clock. Let's go. I always say you get what you organize for, and with the help of over 4,000 volunteers, we've made over 1 million attempts and had over 100,000 conversations. We organized the delivery of 17 tons of food to North Minneapolis and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for nonprofits and charities. We provided mutual aid during the pandemic and hosted several trainings on everything from unionizing your workplace to reimagining public safety. In 2016, over 360,000 people voted in Minnesota's 5th, and in 2020, we increased that with 40,000 more votes, with over 400,000 people voting here in the 5th for the first time ever. We were one of the first campaigns to invest in deep canvassing program in non-election year, and we knocked on every single door in low turnout areas of our district. By having these deep, meaningful conversations with our constituents, we are able to turn their ideas and values into action in Washington. On the legislative side, the Meals Act, my bill that guaranteed school meals would continue for more than 20 million kids during the pandemic, was signed into law. The Paul Act, my bill to help end corruption in our elections by mandating more accountability and transparency for those lobbying on behalf of foreign governments, passed the House. The Combating International Islamophobia Act, my bill to create an international envoy to address global Islamophobia at the State Department, passed the House. We passed amendments to force the military to produce a cost-benefit analysis on the use of military bases overseas, require DoD contracts to report human rights violations, and to prohibit the use of any funds to establish permanent military base in Somalia. We helped secure legal protection for Liberian refugees and immigrants living in Minnesota who were facing risk of deportation through the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act. We worked to secure significant debt relief and increased U.S. aid for Somalia. We brought home $2.6 trillion in federal money for our district, $13.5 million in community development block grants to help Minneapolis rebuild from the unrest after the tragic murder of George Floyd. We are currently advancing an additional $46 million in funding for community-based projects. In total, we passed 48 of my bills and amendments in the House, and 8 of our bills have been signed into law. Our office hosted 59 roundtables and town halls. We responded to over 150,000 pieces of mail from constituents. We hosted over 4,000 meetings with constituents and worked on over 1,600 constituent cases. I was elected whip of the Progressive Caucus twice and served as the vice chair of the Medicare for All Caucus twice. 3 years ago, I co-founded the Black Maternal Health Caucus and the Emergency Task Force on Black Youth Suicide and Mental Health. We worked with you to enact community-driven legislation to cancel student debt, provide universal school meals, combat systemic racism, provide housing for all, reorient our foreign policy, end fossil fuel subsidies, and address the waste crisis that is fueling climate change. In our last election, we were outspent by tens of millions of dollars by our opponent, and we were able to win by more than 20 points in the most expensive primary in the history of Congress. Whew, wow, that was a lot. I didn't do this all on my own. These are our accomplishments. I couldn't have done any of it without you. Your time, your donations is what makes our movement and this moment possible. Thank you so much. As I always say, you get what you organize for, and you haven't seen nothing yet.